Hey, this is Antonio. Welcome back to my channel, and we're gonna have some fighting words. But before we go any further, you know the routine. I need for you to like this video, and also please subscribe to my channel. So, Terence Crawford has just come off what I believe is the biggest win of his career. Beating Shawn Porter, and beating Shawn Porter the way he did. He beat him to the point where Shawn Porter's father said, "Enough of this is enough. It's not gonna go well. Let's just call it a night. You're the better man. You won. You beat my son. Let's get the heck out of here." So the question is, who's next for Terence Crawford? What we do know is not going to be Earl Spence. But who else is there? Keith Thurman says, "Give me 8 months." Now, this was asked of Terence Crawford. What do you think about Keith Thurman? He said, just give him 8 months. And Terence was like, well, if you were in shape and you really believed in yourself, you wouldn't need 8 months. If he were you wouldn't need 8 months. But, Keith Thurman doesn't exactly stay in the gym like that. Not to mention he hasn't fought in a while. So he would need a tune-up fight. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I mean, you're going up with somebody who might be arguably pound for pound the best right now. I don't think he is, but arguably, I can see why people would say that. And I think he needs some time. Listen, Keith Thurman has had a lot of issues with his body, a lot of surgeries. Yeah, he needs some time. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. And to be honest with you, I don't feel like Terence Crawford is going to have a fight, turnaround time like that. So why not have 8 months? Why not? I mean, I don't see an issue with that. I personally think that's a perfect fight, in terms of styles. I do think it's a perfect fight because I think Keith Thurman will pull more out of Terence Crawford than what Shawn Porter did. I think Shawn Porter, one of the things that I didn't particularly like is the amount of respect Shawn Porter was giving Terence Crawford. And I don't think Keith Thurman is going to give that respect. I don't think he's going to give that respect in a press conference, and I definitely don't think he's going to give that respect when they get in the ring. Not to mention, you're fighting somebody who hits way harder than Shawn Porter. Keith Thurman does hit harder. So you are fighting a completely different fighter. You are fighting, in my opinion, a much more dangerous fighter. A guy who could put you out with one punch. So he's a lot more dangerous. I'm not saying he's as fast as Shawn. Well, I kind of am, actually. I feel like Keith Thurman has great footwork, lots of power. I would also say he's very knowledgeable. He is a very knowledgeable fighter. And I think it would be hard for Terence Crawford because Keith Thurman is not going to throw 1,000 punches at you. He's not going to do that. So, but I think it could play in Terence Crawford's, I think it could play in his court as well to fight a Keith Thurman. Because, yeah, Keith Thurman fought Manny Pacquiao, but I think by losing to Manny Pacquiao, it didn't hurt Keith Thurman. It didn't hurt. You got beat by a legend, and it was a tough, grueling fight. Pacquiao beat you, but Pacquiao, after the fight, was getting spoon-fed by his wife for like 2 weeks. So I don't necessarily know if, it hurt Keith Thurman's stock in that sense. At this point, if you fight... When people fight Floyd Mayweather, it doesn't really hurt them because they fought Floyd Mayweather. And it's like, well, yeah, I got beat, but I got beat by probably the greatest fighter in the last 20 years. So who cares? And I think it would kind of be like that for Manny Pacquiao as well. Be like, yeah, I got beat by Manny Pacquiao, but number one, Manny Pacquiao didn't wash me up. And then number two, Manny Pacquiao was getting spoon-fed by his wife the next 2 weeks. And then number three, it's Manny Pacquiao. I mean, he's a legend. So it doesn't really mean it's not like he fought Danny Garcia and Danny Garcia beat him up. Because it's just, with all due respect to Danny Garcia, and then you have Manny Pacquiao. There's a difference. Sorry, there's a difference. So I don't think his stock is as low as people make him out to be. I think his stock is only low because he does this disappearing act from time to time. That's why your stock is low. I don't think it's low because you're Walt Manny Pacquiao. I think it's low because you haven't been around. I think it's low because we haven't seen you. I think it's low because you don't go out to events. I think it's low because you're inactive. That's why it's low. But we all still respect your skills. And he has skills. He does have skill. He beat Shawn Porter. He beat Danny Garcia. He's no walk in the park. He's no walk in the park. I think that's a very good fight. I think if you want a real, like, to just beat the test that you beat, meaning, I beat Shawn Porter, which was a big test. And honestly, nobody's ever done to Shawn Porter what Terence Crawford did to Shawn Porter. Let's just call a spade a spade. Okay? Nobody's ever treated him like that. Nobody's ever manhandled Shawn Porter. Nobody. Not even Errol Spence. Nobody's ever manhandled Shawn Porter. Yeah, you can make the case for Kell Brook, but Kell Brook was so much bigger, but still, it wasn't a stoppage. And if you talk to Shawn Porter, they thought they won. Nobody's ever done that to Shawn Porter. So, those are my thoughts on that. So whether you like it or not, who can take you even higher than Shawn Porter? The guy who beat Shawn Porter, the guy who beat Danny Garcia, the guy who put, Manny Pacquiao in a place where his eyes were closed for like 2 weeks. Keith Thurman, somebody who's no joke. Keith Thurman, somebody who hits really hard. Keith Thurman, somebody who can put your lights out with one punch. Keith Thurman, somebody who knows how to move. Keith Thurman, somebody where you are literally about to play chess. Keith Thurman, somebody where you don't know where he's going to be at. Keith Thurman, it's easy to fight, not easy. I don't want to say it like that. But it's more easy to fight a Shawn Porter because you know where he's going to be. He's going to be right there in front of you like the whole entire time. Keith Thurman, he has fast feet, but what he does is he leaps around a lot. He'll hit you and then leap over here. Like, he does a lot of leaping. It's not that easy to keep your eye on Keith Thurman. And he's going to utilize the entire ring. Like, it's not going to be like, let's just fight over here in this round. No, it's going to be like, let's fight over here. We'll make a stop over there. We'll come back over here. You're going to work that whole ring. So it's not going to be an easy fight. And if you really want to make a statement to the welterweight division, I mean, with all due respect, you've definitely already made a statement to the welterweight division. But what could top that statement? Beating Keith Thurman. Beating Keith Thurman will definitely say, yo, Terence Crawford, he's here. I'm sorry, Earl. I'm sorry, everybody else. He's here. That would make more than a statement. He only has one loss on his record. With all due respect to Shawn, he had other losses. But Keith Thurman only has one, and it's to a living legend. Okay? Whether you like it or not, it's the truth. So that loss doesn't hold as much weight. It just doesn't. It just doesn't hold as much weight. So I think that's a good fight. I hope Terence Crawford more than considers it. I hope he accepts that. The only downplay to that would be, what if Keith Thurman gets into a fight and it turns out to be a harder fight than, he expected. Well, now we might have to wait even longer. So it's just like, I get where Terence Crawford is coming from. Don't make me wait for you and then nothing happens. Or, maybe you could just say, hey, I'm going to wait for you, but you just train for 8 months, whatever. Train for 8 months, and then we can meet up, because what would draw, again, like that Earl Spence fight is a mega fight, but all these other things, I feel like You already beat Sean Porter, and you did to him what nobody else has ever done. If you beat Keith Thurman, everybody, I don't care who they are, will have to say, you're the man. You're the man. They're going to have to. Hands down, they're going to have to say that. Whether they like it or not, they might have to gag afterwards or whatever, but they're going to have to say it. You're the man. So I think it's a great fight. I think stylistically it's a great fight. And I think hands down it would be Terence Crawford's hardest, toughest fight yet. A lot more hard and a lot more difficult than Sean Porter. I do believe that. Um, but those are my thoughts. You know the routine. I want to know what you have to say down below. And as always, please like and please subscribe.